With one click, get this newsletter delivered to your inbox. Hasbro Incorporated is starting its holiday shopping early. The company is making a takeover bid for rival Mattel Incorporated, the WSJ's Dana Mattioli and Paul Ziabra report, a move to unite the two biggest U.S. toy makers that would mark one of the biggest signs yet of the upheaval underway in the sector. The big brands are coping with changing technology and shifting consumer buying patterns, interweaving trends that helped send retailer Toys R Us into Chapter 11 bankruptcy and have left companies like Mattel, the maker of Barbie dolls, Fisher-Price and Hot Wheels toys, has been struggling with weak sales. The turmoil has been evident at U.S. seaports, where imports of traditional toys slumped 5% in September, according to trade analysts Panjiva, while the Diagam shipments rose 40%. Among the big hits is Nintendo's Switch game console, which the company plans to start producing in far bigger numbers in coming months, the WSJ's Takashi Mochizuki reports, setting plans that will likely add to the headaches at Hasbro and Mattel. China's e-commerce boom looks like it is being built in a single day. Alibaba Group Holding Limited reported another big surge in sales in the annual Singles' Day promotion, and online rival JD.com saw even stronger gains over last year in what the WSJ's Liza Lin reports adds up to a strong demonstration of the growing clout of the country's consumer sector. Alibaba racked up more than $25.3 billion in sales in its 24-hour sales period, 42% more than a year ago, while JD's $19.1 billion in sales were up 50% from last year. Both companies pushed hard for the sales in the kind of effort that has both helped and troubled the retail world. Alibaba added incentives, including pushing pre-orders, marketing games and fresh promotions that produce big numbers but also come at a cost to margins. And the sudden spike in shipments can jam logistics operations. One survey found consumers in China were put off by the slow deliveries following the big sales rush. Walmart Stores Incorporated is undertaking what looks like a radical strategy for online sales. The retailer wants better profits from the business. The world's biggest retailer has quietly raised prices for some food and household items sold on its U.S. website, the WSJ's Sarah Nassau reports, while pushing suppliers to package online merchandise in bulk for bigger orders and better profit margins. Those and other changes are being undertaken quietly on the website, but taken together they signal a potentially bold step to reset the retailer's online strategy. Behind the move is better balance between the sales and logistics costs. The new system has at times resulted in higher web prices for goods that would otherwise be unprofitable to ship. Walmart is trying to take better advantage of its vast network of stores, in part by using the web to get more people to head to stores for the best prices, while placing larger orders online that offset the cost of shipping. Transportation. Rush hour is becoming an all-day affair, adding complications and costs to supply chains. Researchers at Texas A&M reported as part of a study for analytics group INRIX that driving times for U.S. commuters have been relatively constant over the past decade, but the congestion has spread out beyond the traditional morning and evening busy periods. The WSJ's Joe Craven McGinty writes the delays are mounting, and INRIX's annual scorecard shows congestion now costs each U.S. drivers a total of nearly $300 billion. The expanding congestion clock is putting more pressure on distribution channels, complicating efforts by truck and delivery drivers to operate outside the busiest traffic windows. A report earlier this year by the American Transportation Research Institute said congestion added $63.4 billion overall truck operating costs. But companies looking to pare back the impact of congestion are finding it harder than ever to find the off-peak hours on the highways that they need. In other news, a measure of U.S. consumer sentiment dipped in early November from last month's 13-year high. WSJ. 11 Pacific Rim nations moved closer to a trade pact, with disagreements from Canada in areas including the automotive sector preventing a deal. WSJ. The European Union is giving the UK 2 weeks to show progress on major Brexit issues for talks to move on to Britain's future relationship with the bloc. WSJ. A British appeals tribunal rules Uber Technologies Incorporated must give its 50,000 drivers employee rights. WSJ. JCPenney company same-store sales rose in the past quarter as the retailer cut its inventory 8.8% from a year ago. WSJ. Emirates Airline is resuming its aircraft buying spree with the purchase of 40 Boeing Company 787 jets. WSJ. Hawaiian passenger airline Island Air shut down. WSJ. A World Bank group wants shipping finance firms to consider the impact of potential carbon pricing rules to gauge the risk of investments. Lloyd's List. European Union lawmakers agreed shipping won't be included for now in the bloc's emissions trading system. Maritime executive. U.S. coal train loadings fell at the start of November to the lowest level since the holiday-shortened week ended July 7. Platts. Market says the components in Apple Incorporated's iPhone X are 45% more expensive than the iPhone 8 parts. MarketWatch. UK logistics group Wincanton plc boosted its net profit 3.6% to $26.8 million in the first half of the year. Motor transport. British apparel retailer ASOS is offering a pay-later option for online shoppers. D-Day. A surge in online shopping in the UK has led to growing consumer complaints about deliveries from startup couriers. The Guardian. Northern Drilling Limited, owned by John Fredrickson, said a private share placement aimed at raising $250 million for fleet expansion. Bloomberg. Transport experts say new bigger container ships won't be able to sail safely into the port of Melbourne Harbour. Ballarat Courier. Hong Kong-based Hutchison Ports is adding a second new terminal operation in the United Arab Emirates. Seatrade Maritime. Damen Shipyards Group of the Netherlands is buying control of a Romanian shipyard from South Korea's Daewoo Shipbuilding and Marine Engineering. Seatrade Maritime. Port of Oakland commissioners approved a plan for a $52 million logistics facility at a former military site. KTVU. The U.S. military used poor trucking operators in California that violated labor laws. USA Today. South Korea's Hyundai Merchant Marine cuts its 9-month operating loss by more than half. The Lodestar. United Parcel Service Incorporated is using a grant from New York State to convert up to 1,500 delivery vans to electric power. Mashable. The U.S. set final anti-subsidy duties on biodiesel imports from Argentina and Indonesia. Reuters. The last logging railway on Canada's Vancouver Island is shutting down. North Island Gazette.